Hello, this is my unit plan for the course. It is Clothes as Cultural Objects. We will go over school culture and uniforms in the first lesson, mannequins and their history in the second lesson. The third lesson will be traditional and contemporary clothing from around the world. Project 4 will be curating a fashion show. Project 5, students will look to the future, the year 2500, and think of clothes for that era. The enduring understandings for the unit are clothes can have cultural significance, clothes can be different depending on when and where they were made, and fashion throughout time has been a means of expression. The first lesson will go off of school culture and uniforms. My school is a uniform school. There are schools all around the world that either have uniforms or don't, so students will learn about the pros and cons of uniforms, and then they will actually be writing a 4-paragraph essay on whether they think schools should have uniforms or not. It'll be a persuasive essay. This will be interdisciplinary with a lot of writing since they're writing an essay. And then we will have an in-class debate on whether or not schools should have uniforms or not. Lesson 2 will be mannequins and their history. This is a preparatory project leading up to their third project. So they'll go over mannequins and their history. There'll be a video. Students will fill out a notes packet. And then we'll create uh, every student will create a mannequin doll that is about 1 foot tall out of tinfoil and tape. Um, because in their next lesson, they'll actually be creating some clothes out of construction paper, and we need something for these clothes to go on, so we're creating some mannequins. And it'll also give students a great opportunity to reflect more critically on objects that they see in their everyday life. So the third lesson, this is where we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, where it is a 3-class project or lesson based off of traditional and contemporary fashions from Native American cultures, Nigeria, Japan, and Latin American countries, where we do lots of slides, look at lots of images from traditional clothing and contemporary clothing from each culture. There's a lot of vocabulary. Students will be given a vocabulary sheet to help them get the terms situated, as all of the clothes have their own words associated with them. Then students will create their own clothing, kind of based off of what they saw or what their own culture is, from construction paper and their drawing supplies. These clothes will then go on to their mannequins that they made in lesson 2. Moving on to lesson 4, students will actually be creating and curating a fashion show for the mannequins and clothes that they made previously. So this is kind of a performative presentation of their work. It's very visual culture focused, where we go through these events such as New York and Paris Fashion Week. We can talk about TV shows that go over runways like Project Runway or Next in Fashion that can be viewed on Netflix or Hulu. Um, there will be 5 groups that students will be working in. Each group will be doing something different, all with the same goal of creating this fashion show. There will be the set designers who will design how the actual classroom will be laid out during the show, and they will create any set pieces for the show. There will be the sound engineers who will choose the music or make the music for the show. Um, then there will be the model managers who will actually decide the walking order of all the mannequins and will physically walk them down the runway on the presentation day. Then we have the advertisers. They will be creating a flyer to advertise the show to a younger grade level at the school or to their parents to see if they can come in and see their work. And then the last group will be the presenters. They will have to create a script and practice presenting so that way they can open and close the show on runway day. All I'll be doing is helping students as needed, and then I'll be recording the final product, the actual fashion show itself. I will be taking a very backseat role in this project. The last lesson is looking towards the year 2500. Students will look at artists like Nick Cave. They'll look at some video game examples such as the Borderlands games or F-Zero. They might be familiar with Captain Falcon from the Smash Brothers games. We'll look at a few other fashion designers as well with their futuristic and dystopian fashions. Students will then contemplate on what the world will be like in the year 2500, if the sun overheated, caused a big drought, if we all went to war with each other, or if there's space travel and aliens. All these things they will have to figure out what that year will look like, and then create some fashion, some clothing out of recycled materials that represents that era. They'll be working in groups of 4. And then lastly, after the lessons and the unit is over, they will be reflecting on what their favorite project was and what they learned, or on what their least favorite project was and what they wish was different about it. I like to leave a few different options for reflections for the different types of learners that I have. Anyways, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.